Howdy, Mr. E here. If this is your first time coming to this channel, thanks for coming. If you're coming back, thanks for coming back. What we were talking about, making a connection with your higher self and maybe some strategies to do that. And I think it's just a matter of awareness. What are we actually listening to? Is it our programming that's been going on for who knows how long, and what we've been always taught to? It's just sitting there circling around. If you're having things repeat all the time, chances are you got the programs running, and chances are they're running anyway, because if you haven't cleared them, then they're running. And it takes a minute to just go into silence and start listening to yourself, talk to yourself, and see what those programs actually are. And then maybe we can do something about it. Because the fact is, once you start observing that and start looking at those things, they tend to just start disappearing. And you have to make an intention and clear them out of your field. You have to do some energy work. So we're going to do some classes about energy work and how to clear that from your field. Maybe we'll do some activations, some light body activations or something like that, and help you out with that. But I have to write notes. This stuff comes in the morning for me, and then I do a video at night because I'm not so savvy on this video stuff. But it is what it is. I mean, what we intend to connect to is our higher self, like our infinite self. What is it that stops us from doing that? Because sometimes there might be mimics too, like something mimicking your higher self. It's not really your higher self. You have to be kind of careful, because we don't want to have something else creep in and start telling us what to do. And you'll know the difference, because if it's negative or positive, or it might actually take a little bit of recapitulation work to clean this stuff out of your system before you can start getting to silence and building the higher self, because we actually create the higher self by our intention of actually wanting to get to know our higher self. That's how we create him, and he actually does show up. I know that's hard to understand, and they're actually they're pretty clear about this. There comes a point when the higher self is actually dreaming you instead of you're dreaming him, and so or her, and that's kind of wild. And what else can stop us? There's a lot of things that can stop us on this path to knowledge. And what we ultimately want to do is integrate with our higher self, become as one, and then we can, that's the whole ascension process. That is evolution, and then we can, then we can explore other realities, whatever's after that. Who knows? Your higher self probably does. Maybe not. What else can stop us? We come into the natural enemies of a man of knowledge, or a person of knowledge, and so the first one is very prevalent in today's society, and that is fear. Fear is the first natural enemy of a person of knowledge, and it stops us from maintaining that connection with our higher self, because fear is all encompassing. It includes like anger, hatred. Fear includes sorrow, and anything that it's going to make you act. It's based on fear. Any kind of negative emotion is based in fear. So fear is a ruthless enemy, and it shows up anywhere and everywhere, especially even when you're trying to do. Like this video, fear could stop me from doing that, and it does stop a lot of people from coming out and speaking, or speaking your truth from your throat chakra. Fear will stop you. It is a ruthless enemy, and a lot of people don't get past the fear, and they'll never get past the fear, because the fear is always going to be there, and sometimes it is scary. But that has to do with some of the programming as well, because maybe somewhere down the line, you're about to do something when you're a little kid, and your mom or dad yells, "Hey, don't do that!" And, you hold your breath, and then that registers an imprint in your field, and it causes the cycle. Then every time you maybe hear something like that, you react to it, or something familiar comes along. You've made some kind of story up about it because of what happened way back when you were a kid, and now you're set in this certain type of pattern. So when anything that reminds you of that happens, you live into that certain pattern, and so it's called a vicious cycle. And so we want to break these vicious cycles and actually free ourselves from the constraints of the past. And it's a choice. I mean, there's fear. Fear is going to stop. It's going to be prevalent in this situation, because it's kind of scary not to do this, to do something different. We call it not doing. It's like we're not going to do the same thing we've always done in this certain situation. But that takes courage, because it's really easy to just go on automatic and become a zombie and just go. That's easy. It takes courage, and it takes strength, and it takes willpower and knowledge and unbending intent is what it takes to get through this. And you have to actually. For me, I had to actually enter the warrior's path. And the warrior's path is not against everybody else. It's not going to war. The war is against yourself and all these control programs that have been running. And so it's really important, because, see, these things run our lives, and we're just sitting in a bubble. There's nothing out there. It's literally, there's empty space, and we just create all these things, and what we agree on appears in our reality. So, I mean, the collective conscience is very powerful, and that's why they use the media and stuff to control everything. I mean, look at it. The media is all about fear. There's fear this, fear that. Man, we've been on like yellow alerts or orange alerts since, who knows, can we get back to yellow someday or something? Who knows? It's crazy. This place is insane, and the Looney Tunes are running the show, the psychopaths. So, but not for long, because we can take control of the ship, and once everybody starts waking up and doing the great work, and I think a lot of people are, we can actually come to a tipping point where we can actually shift the whole consciousness, and it makes a difference. So, sorry, somebody walked in. Fear is the first natural enemy. Like, it can just immobilize you. Like, you can't get anything done. Like, you feel stuck. That's fear running. And it can get you angry. Make you say things you don't want to say. Do things you don't want to do. So it's really just a matter of awareness. You have to kind of look at this fear, see where it is running your ship. Like, how's it running you? How's it got you on automatic pilot? We want to ultimately break free from the shackles of fear and vanquish it. You can actually vanquish your fear, and then it becomes a very powerful place to be in. And you'll be able to, by doing this, you'll be able to get one step closer to our higher self and integration into our higher self. But it does take some work. I had to spend years and years and years clearing, and it just didn't come automatically. It takes a lot of work. But it is faster nowadays because there's a lot of light activating into the planet. The planet itself is ascended and is evolving, and it's bringing everybody else with us. We've just been put on a rehab ship. You're in a rehabilitation center, whether you like to believe it or not. That's That's where we're at until you start clearing this stuff up, because it can't go with you. Where we're going, it can't go. So we have to clear it up. I've heard like, oh, the Earth's going to split up and some people are going to stay back on this other Earth. And now the Earth, sure, there might be multiple realities and multiple Earths and stuff, but I don't believe that's true either. I think everybody's been put in a rehab. It's already happened because there is no time. So if you can move your consciousness forward, you can also move it backwards or forward. So you can see that this is already, everybody's already ascended. It's just we've got to catch up with ourselves. So there is a future self that you can connect to, and he can make it easier. But we've got to get through these programs and all these consciousness loops and traps and seals and flags and tags and whatever else there is that's been running the show. So it really is a matter of awareness. You have to become aware of what's actually, who's driving the ship. Is it you? Is it your fear? Is it a fear programming that has you act the way you're acting as you go to work because you're scared of what happens if you don't? Have you tried to just surrender to your higher self and just let him take care of you? I've done it for 30, 40 years now. I'll go to work if the opportunity comes along and I can make some money. Yeah, we'll go do it. But I've actually been able to be all right without that. So, and that's due to just surrendering and letting my higher self lead me and bring stuff along to help to assist me on my journey. And I don't get super rich, and I don't even ask for that. A warrior takes what he needs. I only take what I need. That's all. This journey, you can't take anything with you anyway. Just take what you need and live happily. Live on the path. You have to choose your path. My path happens to be the path of the heart. And so, look, I'm not making this stuff up. This is what I was taught by my higher self. So I just want to let you know that this is actually coming from a future part of me. And I don't care if you believe it or not. I already know it's true. So, and Lyron came in last night, and he's a big fella. And, sometimes he's wondering, what in the fuck are you doing, boy? What are you doing here, boy? So anyway, he's beautiful, beautiful being. I've seen the future cities too, and there's no distortions. It's like there are no distortions. And in fact, that's a rule of mine: no distortions. If there's any type of distortions, we remove it from our field because it's not allowed in here. I've got all my own distortions to work on. I don't need anybody else's. We can help you with them, but I sure don't want to get attached to them. So it's a matter of awareness. And so look at the media. It's all about fear. I don't even think any of the stuff that's happening is actually real. I think it's just done on a stage set in Hollywood, and they just got you so scared that you act out on it, and everybody watches it, so everybody agrees on it, and guess what happens? It creates it into reality. That's how this shit's working. That's how they get away with it, because it's a free will society. If you're freely choosing that, then you guys chose it. It's as simple as that. Look, I tested it. I was going to prison, and I'd go to jail, and jail is even voluntary. You get to the jail doors, and they say, "Come on in." I'd say, "Hell no." You have to drag me in, 3 or 4 guys. Can't resist. You can't be belligerent, but you don't just voluntarily walk in. Then when they're doing your fingerprints, you you know, you know, smile for the camera. You have to let them hold your head up. You don't let them take your fingerprints or your picture. It's just, next thing I'd know, I'd be out of there in 72 hours. They can only hold you for 72 hours. Problem is, I thought I'd go free, but no, they just send you to another jail, and you can do the whole thing over again, and over again, and over again, and over again. And nobody knows where you're at, or it sucked. Bologna sandwiches got old. But anyway, that happened for about a year of my life, and anyway, we're done with that. So it does take some work. You might have to stand your ground no matter what, because that's what I had to do. And you know what? You're never going to have to do that, because I did it for you. I cleared it for the collectives. So I just want you to know that whatever I did is available to everybody else. And I had a huge restitution. It's gone now. So I don't, must have done something right. Must have worked. So, I mean, literally you can change anything. You can time shift. There's so many things available that will blow your mind once you're free from these thoughts and awarenesses that are controlling your life. I'm just telling you. And we're going to do some I'm going to start bringing in the light language, and we're going to do some activations. I just need to practice a little bit more and get more in touch with the higher self, and we're going to bring some activations in. He's already telling me, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I just want you to let you know the technology they have here. They were only allowed a certain amount of technology, and it's kind of pathetic. Because the problem is everybody just uses it for weapons. And so they were only allowed a certain degree of technology. It's kind of a joke. Whatever they have is a joke. It just doesn't even compare. So there's things, I mean, right out that you just can't see them yet. I'm just telling you, there's stuff going on that you can't see because of the programming that you've been brought up in. It's just like when the ships came, Cortez came with the ships over to South America. They didn't even see them because they didn't even think that was real until somebody showed up on the shores. Then they could start seeing the ships when they pointed to them and explained them what it was. And then they could start seeing them because they have agreement to it. And I don't know if that's true or not because I wasn't there, but I'm just picturing it like I bet you they didn't even see the ships coming. That's why they could land on shore and take them by surprise because they didn't even see them. It's not a reality for them. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Look, there's another point I want to get across is we don't, the world we're living in is just really, what that makes the world is just a description. We're just living in a description. And we don't necessarily, sure, we can create another description and live into that, but that's not necessarily my goal, or maybe it shouldn't be your goal either. I don't know it's up to you. My goal is actually to get total freedom and become completely fluid so I can move in and out of realities anytime and go anywhere we want. So you can travel in quantum and travel stargates and leap to this time frame or this place over here, and let's go visit Andromeda, or anything's possible. And it takes unbending intent to do this, and impeccability. You can't do this part time and then just go indulge like fucking crazy for months on end and then come back to it. No, it takes impeccability. You have to be impeccable with your word and impeccable with your actions. you know, you can say, oh, I'll just quit watching the news on Monday and then watch it the rest of the week and figure you're not going to be programmed. It doesn't work like that. You're going to have to actually not do what you've been doing your whole life, if that makes any sense. That's what it's going to take. And a lot of people did. I mean, when COVID came, everybody could stop and take a look, and they started looking inside of themselves. That was really actually a good thing that happened to humanity, because it started waking everybody up to this bullshit that's going on. So, I don't know. That's my 20 cents worth. I don't like talking about stuff in the 4D because we're not from there. But I have to come down here so I can reach some of you and put you on the rehab ship. If you're listening to this, I'm probably your rehabilitation captain. Whether you like it or not, you'll probably come back, and we're going to get to work. Get our lives cleaned up. Let's get with it, because we've got a new reality to create. We can create new realities. We're creators. So let's do it. I want to thank you for coming here. It's been a real pleasure. I would draw you a card, but see, I packed up all my stuff. I'm leaving. I'm going out of town. So I'll be on the road for quite a while. We'll be doing videos on the road. So keep watching, and give it a thumbs up, I guess. That's what I'm supposed to say, because that's what everybody says. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, or not, or don't. I don't really care, but just know if you're watching this channel, you're probably in a rehabilitation platform. You don't even know it. And so I'm your rehabilitation captain speaking to you, and it's time to get to work. All right, we'll leave it at that. Later, alligator.